In the government's latest response,
You must stay at home.
Master of the house, doling out the charm.
It's very important that everyone
know that you are not alone.
G'day chemists. So let's have a look at the empirical formula. It's a very specific type of chemical formula. It tells us some really, again, specific information about composition of a substance. And it's one of those ones that we can sort of use as we pull a chemical apart and in the lab and see what it's made out of. Alrighty. So here's your vocabulary. If I could just get you to pause the video, write this down, then you'll have some background knowledge to use as you progress through, and life will be sweet as. Okay, so just like we have background information, we also have background equations in chemistry. Now, these are equations that we've already used. The one we're going to focus on today is going to be calculating our moles by dividing the mass of a substance by its molar mass. Okay, so this is the very basic rock standard mole calculation. We've done this before. I'm sure if you're at the point of doing empirical formula, you've done this before. If not, we'll show you how to step it out anyway. So it's moles equals mass divided by molar mass. Alrighty. So what is the empirical formula? It's a representation of all of the atoms organized by element in their simplest whole number ratio. So it doesn't tell us the actual numbers of atoms in a molecule, but it does tell us the simplest ratio, which essentially is a formula unit, right? So the empirical formula can be same as or smaller than or a factor of the molecular formula. It cannot be larger. Examples of it includes CH2O. So we see that here, right? And that's this one over here. So over here we have glucose. Glucose has a molecular formula of C6H12O6. However, its empirical formula is CH2O2. That's the smallest ratio. So what that means is if we worked out the molecular weight, the molar mass of CH2O, it would be 1/6 the molar mass of glucose, right? But all carbohydrates, and glucose is a carbohydrate, are going to have, well, your basic ones, are going to have this empirical formula here. So how do we work it out? The first step is, well, actually, let's have a look over here. So here we have another carbohydrate, and we see we have the C3H6O3, whereas the empirical formula is simply CH2O. Over here we have C10H14N2. So the smallest thing we can divide all of this by is 2. Up here it was 3. And that gives us C5H7N. And over here we have C12H22O11. Now, there is no common factor there that we can divide it by. So, aside from 1. So therefore, this is also the empirical formula. Let's have a look how we do it. First off is we determine the atomic masses of the elements in the compound. So we break this down, right? Like here we have carbon. What's the atomic mass of carbon? What's the atomic mass or molar mass? Atomic mass of hydrogen. What is the atomic mass of oxygen? Write those down. Boom. It's always fun to do this in a little table. We then determine the number of moles of each element in the compound. So for example, if we had, you'd be told that you had X number of grams of each of these, and so you can divide that grams by the molar mass, same as N equals mass over molar mass. And you, again, record that for each one. You then find the simplest whole number ratio for each element in the compound, and you do that, we'll practice this in a sec, by getting all of the moles and dividing each one by the lowest number possible. So just say you had 1 mole of this and 2 moles of that, you would also have 1 mole of this. It would be the moles of carbon divided by the moles of carbon, the moles of hydrogen divided by the moles of carbon, and the moles of oxygen divided by the moles of carbon. You then write the empirical formula as the ratio that they'd form, right? So you wouldn't have 3, it wouldn't be 3 to 6 to 3, it would be 1 to 2 to 1. And you write those, and then you put that in the chemical formula as you're going, and then we call that an empirical formula. So let's practice. Well, actually, here's a nice little table of how we'd set it out, right? So this is actually not a bad way of doing it. So you've got hydrogen, oxygen here. You've been told you've got 10 grams of hydrogen, 80 grams of oxygen. So you now work out the moles. So that one's going to be 10 divided by 1.01 is 10. 80 divided by 16.0, these are the molar masses from the periodic table. That's going to be 5. And we divide by the smallest one, lowest figure. So we go 10 divided by 5.0. That gives us 2. 5.0 divided by 5.0, it's 1. So then we put that into our empirical formula. So it's H for hydrogen, 2, oxygen, 1, but we don't ever write the 1. And that's it. Like, it's pretty simple, right? So now you've seen the description, stepped out in a table. Let's go through a couple of questions. So now let's do an example using masses. All right, so here we have a 60 gram sample of tetraethyl lead. It's something which is put in petrol, or used to be. We say gasoline here because this is a past IB exam question. Is found to contain 38.43 grams of lead, 17.83 grams of carbon, and 3.74 grams of hydrogen. So that's our first steps taken, right? We actually don't need to convert these to grams because it's already done for us. Then find its empirical formula. So our first step in that case would be normally convert these to grams, then convert them to how many moles are present of each. So let's do that. Lead, we have 0.185 because it's 38.43 divided by 207.2 grams per mole. See, lead's quite a heavy one. Then we have carbon, 17.83 divided by 12 gives us 1.484. Hydrogen, 3.74 divided by 1.01 gives us 3.69 moles. Okay. Our next step is then going to divide them by the lowest factor, or lowest number of moles, which is this bad boy. So divide everything by 0.185, and this is going to give us the whole number of ratios. So 0.185 divided by 0.185 is 1, so there's 1 lead. Carbon is 0.484 divided by 0.185, and it gives us 7.98. Now that is very, very close to 8, so we can accept that as 8. Usually if something's about like 0.2 off, you can go with it, but if it is more than 0.2 off, you've got to move on. You've got to do some maths in a second, and that'll be our next example. Here we have hydrogen, which is 3.69 divided by 0.185. That gives us 19.98. Again, close enough we can count that as 20. So that's some big numbers. So if we round it, our lead to carbon to hydrogen ratio is 1 to 8 to 20, which means it's PbC8H20. All right, so that's nice and simple, right? It's nice and straightforward. And the more we do these, the more, again, it's not a formula here, but there is a process. And the process is always the same, so that's nice. Let's do it using percentages. So this is the other way you'll get information, right? A compound is found to contain 26.56% potassium, 35.41% chromium, and the remainder oxygen. That's a real jerk way to write it. This is also a past IB question because you've got to do an extra bit of maths to work out how much oxygen you've got. Then determine the empirical formula. And the first step we have to do is turn it into grams. So the good thing about a percentage is it always equals 100, right? So you just turn it into a 100-gram sample. So potassium, 26.56% of a 100-gram sample is 26.56 grams. Same again, gives us 35.41 grams of chromium. And then if we add these together and subtract them from 100, that will give us 38.03 grams of oxygen. Nice. Now we have to convert that to moles, and that's using N equals mass over molar mass. So we convert the masses to moles. If we go 26.56 grams divided by 39.1 grams per mole, 0.68. Chromium, interesting. 35.41 divided by 51.599 grams per mole gives also 0.68. And oxygen, 38.03 grams divided by 16 grams per mole. Remember, with oxygen, we're talking about the element, not the molecule. Gives us 2.38 moles. It's going to be slightly problematic in a second. So we divide each by the smallest ratio, which is the smallest molar amount to get the ratio, and that's 0.68 in this one. So 0.68 divided by 0.68 is 1. 0.68 divided by 0.68 is also 1. So we're like K, Cr, no subscripts yet. And then oxygen is 3.5. Now that's not actually that close to a whole number. So in this case, we're going to have to do something because it's got to be given as the nearest whole number ratio. So it's not very close. So what we're going to do is we're going to double it because that's the lowest way we can get to a whole number. If it was 3.3, we might have to triple it and so on. So 3.5 gets us, if we double that, gets us 7. So our ratio becomes 2 to 7. So our empirical formula is potassium, so K2Cr2O7. That's potassium dichromate. So it'll be a compound that you're going to be fairly familiar with by the end of the unit. All right, so if you have any questions, put them in the comments and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you for watching. Hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye now.